Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, April 8th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. In their continuing efforts to further strengthen their bilateral ties, an air services agreement was signed here earlier today between the governments of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the United States of America. The document, which replaces the initial 1977 pre-independence agreement, is expected to expand the opportunities in passenger and commercial traffic, as well as promote effective civil aviation security. Nikita Tony has more in this report.
Seen as an avenue for building the institutional, legislative, and judicial infrastructure for civil aviation relations between the United States of America and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as deepening those relations, an air service agreement was signed earlier today, Friday, April 7th, between both nations at Cabinet Room. This new agreement replaces an agreement which was signed in 1977 by the British Crown on behalf of this country. The modernized agreement is expected to take both countries forward in the new era of civil aviation. Pointing out that the USA is an extremely large market and ally, which this country has collaborated with on a number of issues, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves expressed his gratitude to the U.S. government for their continued support in enhancing their civil aviation relations. Dr. Gonsalves noted that the agreement speaks to a joint desire to promote, among other things, international aviation systems based on competition among airlines with minimum government interference and regulations, as well as civil aviation security.
We're granting certain rights to each other's aircrafts. There's a matter of how the authorization proceeds, the revocation of that authorization in certain circumstances, application of laws, safety, very importantly for the question of aviation security. Treaties which have been entered into force by Great Britain on our behalf remain in force unless they are specifically repudiated or renegotiated, involving a lot of treaty arrangements including security matters of all kinds, and they have a lot of resources, and they're partnering with us for all our safety and for their own.
Giving a brief overview of the contents of the newly signed agreement, PM Gonsalves emphasized the specifics of Article 7 of the document, which addresses aviation security.
Each party agrees to observe the security provisions required by the other party for entry into, for departure from, and while within the territory of that other party, and to take adequate measures to protect aircraft and to inspect passengers, crew, and their baggage and carry-on items, as well as cargo and aircraft stores prior to and during boarding or loading. Each party shall also give positive consideration to any request from the other party for special security measures to meet a particular threat.
The Prime Minister gave light to the process of terminating the agreement.
We will register this with the International Civil Aviation Organization, to which both countries belong. Termination of the agreement, each of us can give the other notice in writing to terminate the agreement, but if you're terminating it, it shall terminate at midnight at the place of the receipt of the notice to the other party at the end of the International Air Transport Association traffic season, in effect 1 year following the date of the written notification of the termination.
Political and economic counselor at the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, Irina Ferencevich, highlighted that the agreement deepens and confirms the bilateral ties, as well as the respects and goals shared by both nations in regards to economic cooperation and market promotion.
The agreement is very progressive. The fact that it replaces a more stringent agreement from 1977 really opens up opportunities both for St. Vincent and for the United States, not only in passenger traffic but in commercial traffic as well, that we hope will truly improve our economic and certainly our bilateral relations.
The signing of today's air services agreement follows the signing of two similar agreements with the governments of the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves reiterated at today's signing ceremony that the U.S. Transport Security Administration, the TSA, is not an organization which fails or passes airports, but instead deals with issues of security as it relates to weaknesses and shortcomings which must be addressed. While expressing his government's elation on partnering with the U.S. in enhancing its civil aviation system, PM Gonsalves outlined that civilian aircraft in the U.S. are regulated by the Federal Aviation Authority or administration, which does not have the jurisdiction to regulate Eastern Caribbean aerodromes or pilots. However, he added that by arrangement, the FAA audits the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, ECA, to ensure that they are up to scratch with international standards, particularly since ECA acquired Category 1 status as a jurisdiction in the Eastern Caribbean.
I know this matter has been in the air because the TSA came to visit us. I want to make the point in the presence of our friends from the United States government. The TSA doesn't do any pass or fail of any airport. What the TSA does is to ensure that they work in partnership with us to have the highest standards possible of aviation security, safety and security. And we have been working with the TSA for years. We work with them in respect of our existing airports and E.T. Joshua Airport in particular, and also the shipping, the international shipping and port security code, the ISPS code, of rules and regulations. And a lot of people talk about them willy-nilly without knowing. So it is important that we have a summary understanding of what they are so that we'll be properly guided.
Pointing out the importance of civil aviation to SVG's development, PM Gonsalves is of the view that the issue has assumed greater urgency with the opening of the Argyle International Airport. In his remarks at the signing of an air agreement earlier today, PM Gonsalves noted that his government has recently embarked upon the arranging, consenting and agreeing of a number of air services arrangements, most recently with the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, with others in the works. He also outlined that a special transportation meeting of the Council of Minister of Trade and Economic Development, Quartet, is slated to be held here in the coming weeks.
On the week beginning the 24th, in that week, we are having a special transportation meeting of Quartet, the Council of Ministers of Trade and Economic Development, here in St. Vincent, which I am the chairperson of the Transportation Subcommittee within CARICOM and the spokesperson on civil aviation within CARICOM. And there are many issues on the agenda, including a new, updated, modernized multilateral air services agreement to replace the one which has been in force since 1997. Now, so there are lots of things which are happening in civil aviation.
The 64th meeting of the OECS Authority will continue here on Tuesday, April 12th, 2017 at the Beachcombers Hotel under the chairmanship of Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris. OECS heads of government will join the Director General and Commissioners to conclude discussions on health insurance, strategic options for diplomatic representation, greater participation of non-independent member states, agriculture and support services, regional transport, the blue economy and climate change, and sustainable land management. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, is an international organization dedicated to economic harmonization and integration, protection of human and legal rights, and the encouragement of good governance among independent and non-independent countries in the Eastern Caribbean. The OECS, which came into being on June 18, 1981, currently has 10 members spread across the Eastern Caribbean, comprising the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Country manager of telecommunications company Flow, Wayne Hull, says the company prides itself with the introduction of new cultures and new technologies to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as it celebrates 1 year of operation under the Flow brand today. Hull said the company has been offering various deals for mobile calls and data and has activities inclusive of a concert this evening at Halifax Street as part of the anniversary celebrations. He took the opportunity to speak on some of the achievements made by the new company thus far.
So far, for the entire year of operations, we have brought quite a few great things to market, and I think there is a few triumphs that we can, say that Flow has accomplished for the entire year. And I think at the top of the mind is the fact that we, as a company, has helped St. Vincent and the Grenadines to become the most connected broadband internet country within the Eastern Caribbean, because for the first time the country can boast that household internet penetration is above 50%, and that has come with the expansion of our network, the offers that we have given to customers to connect to broadband services seamlessly right throughout the island.
Hull noted that the company continues to be challenged with issues relating to broadband service and stated that they are taking a targeted approach in improving this service.
One of our biggest challenge, I think, is, and it's probably a good challenge, is the fact that broadband as a product is in high demand, and it is, I think, the new phenomenon that's taking over the country, and our people are more and more using broadband to add value to their lives, and with that comes the challenge of expanding your network, giving customers the constant capacity to be able to connect 24/7 without any disruption. We have had our challenges with sort of getting that right all the time, but we have a plan, all set out with investment, with expansion, and with upgrading network in specific segments of the country where we're facing those issues. And in the not too distant future, you'll see us rolling out those upgrades in our network as we move forward.
Speaking on future projects aimed at improving the broadband service here in SVG, Hull said he recognizes that fiber optics is the future and the company considers this form of technology necessary in order for the telecoms company to remain relevant.
We currently use sort of hybrid fiber at the moment, and that network is throughout the island. But the real fiber, where you have fiber to the home, for instance, where you can get in excess of 200 megabits of service going into a residential home, that is in the future, and those are like plans that we have drawn up, and it's just a matter of having those being rolled out over time, because obviously it requires a significant amount of investment, and it also requires a significant of rebuilding your network right throughout the entire island to take that fiber into the homes of our consumers. But yes, that is something that we as a company, as a telecoms company, would have to do, in the not too distant future to remain relevant, as people demand better broadband speeds and a more, what I would say, higher bandwidth level in their homes.
While the Caribbean grapples with male underachievement, scores of males in St. Vincent and the Grenadines were today awarded for their outstanding performances in the CPEA, CXC, and CSEC examinations for 2016. Chief Education Officer Beverly Neptune took the opportunity to praise this country's male students at the Flow Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Ecclesiastical Affairs National Award Ceremony for recognition and celebration of scholastic achievements in the May-June 2016 examinations. According to Neptune, education should be a top priority on the list of every citizen, adding that the success of quality education requires unwavering dedication.
Notable accomplishments this year include the 87.62% pass rate of the 2016 CSEC examinations among our young men at the St. Martin's Secondary School. They moved from a percentage of 73.5% in 2015, and this year's is the most improved result. Young men, please continue to defy the notion that our boys are failing. It must be noted also that a boy, a young man, Luke Wilson, was the top performer in the CPA exam. Let us give them a round of applause. Our boys are doing just as well. Education is everybody's business. Further, it requires of each stakeholder here, each beneficiary, a commitment and an engagement which surpass the boundaries of race, of class, creed, or the school one attends.
Neptune further noted that the aim is to allow each student to get equal opportunity to develop their full potential.
The government and the people of this country invest heavily in the education of our children. And may I point out that investment in education is not just only about money. It involves a lot of time and energy. It involves the people and organizations founded on strong beliefs and manifest commitment to education. I therefore embrace this opportunity to commend all our hardworking teachers, our principals, for certainly all awardees today must recognize that they benefited from the skills and the expertise of their teachers, supported by their non-teaching staff and their parents who have provided guidance and other necessary support.
Luke Wilson is the top male CPEA performer, while Eric February emerged as the CXC top male performer. The Ministry of Education is looking to phase out the selling of carbonated drinks in schools here. This was revealed by Minister of Education Sinclair Jimmy Prince as he answered a question in Parliament on Thursday regarding healthier foods being provided in the primary schools feeding program. Minister Prince said while there is no immediate ban in schools, the ministry does not condone the consumption of sugary carbonated beverages and called for a change in the nation's mindset.
The Ministry of Education does not condone, and I repeat that, we do not condone this practice and encourage all students to practice healthy lifestyles which will aid in their growth and development. We have to teach our children at home and in school to consume beverages with less sugar and encourage them to drink more water. It is the responsibility of all of us to ensure that our children receive the requisite knowledge so that they could make proper decisions regarding their consumption of sugary beverages and the demand for them. We are aware of the harmful effects of these carbonated drinks, and the ministry is moving towards phasing out these drinks in schools. The third part, where the minister therefore moved his government for the immediate ban of the sale of these drinks. Government will not immediately move at this time for an immediate ban. The consultative process to discourage the consumption of carbonated drinks in schools and homes has to begin at the national level.
The Education Minister also pointed out that as part of the drive to improve school meals, the ministry in association with the Nutrition Unit have eliminated from the menu since last year artificial drink mixes and corned beef.
In consultation with the Nutrition Unit in the Ministry of Health, a decision was taken in September of 2014 to remove corned beef from the menu because of its high fat and sodium content. So that far back we have been proactive in removing these processed meats. We have also removed artificial drink mixtures and replaced them with natural fruit juices. We are also contemplating the removal of chicken sausage from the menu and to replace it with a healthier option soon. Of course, that is still on the menu, but of course we're moving towards that. Can't be too drastic in removing these meats. The Ministry of Education encourages healthy eating in schools and discourages the use of processed food in the preparation of the school feeding menus. We continue to promote the consumption of fruits and vegetables in our Health and Family Life program and other campaigns in schools to boost healthy eating habits among our students. Most schools now have a dedicated fruit day, and the onus is on all of us to support healthy eating in schools and in the homes.
Local police are investigating the drowning of two persons which occurred yesterday afternoon at two separate beaches. The first incident occurred around 4:50 p.m. at the Black Point Beach, where 16-year-old Denzel Rogers of Byra lost his life. According to reports, the North Union student went to the beach with relatives and a friend. He reportedly encountered difficulties in the water, and several attempts were made to save him to no avail, as a rip current which pushed him away from the shore eventually pulled the teenager under. The body of the North Union Secondary School student is yet to be recovered. And around 5:35 p.m., the Chatham Bay Beach in Union Island, 65-year-old Manny Amy, a doctor from France, lost her life after drowning. She was on vacation here with her husband. The couple reportedly went swimming around 3 p.m. when the woman developed breathing difficulties. Reports are that her husband went out to assist her and took her to the rocks to resuscitate her, but his attempts were futile. She was later pronounced dead. 34-year-old Ishta Mack of Chester Village is now nursing gunshot wounds at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. According to reports, Mack was on his way home around 10 last night when he was approached by an unknown assailant who shot him on the left side of his chest and lower back. Some concerned residents reportedly saw him stumble and came to his assistance and rushed him to the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. The 2017 Digicel SVG Gospel Festival will continue with 2 shows over the weekend. This evening, some 20 gospel dance groups from churches around the country, including the Grenadines, will gather at the Peace Memorial Hall from 8 p.m. for a glorious celebration of dance. Scheduled to appear will be leading groups such as Diadem Dancers, KLT Dancers, Yeshua Praise, Holy Rem Dancers, among others. On Sunday evening, it will be the turn of the gospel bands at the Wilson Hill New Testament Church from 6 p.m. in a celebration of praise. All of the leading gospel bands in the state will be present, among them Alive, Ecclesia, Flow, One Word Praise, and Yell. The 2017 Digicel SVG Gospel Festival was officially opened here on Sunday, April 2nd at the Victoria Park. The festival, which is into its 15th year, is being celebrated under the theme 15 Years of the Glorious Celebration of the Gospel. It will climax on Sunday the 30th April with the staging of the National Gospel Showcase at the Victoria Park.